July 23rd, 2020. It's Thursday, Anthony. I'm feeling pretty good about today's show.
Yes, we're 2 minutes late, so let's go.
All right.
Boom.
Boom. Great to see you, Anthony Melchiori. I'm looking forward to today's conversation. We're going to talk a little bit about the meetings and events business and what's going on with that. But before we get started, I got an email this morning. I got excited because it was for a concert, not one I would go see, but MSG was selling tickets for Maroon 5 in September. I got excited, but then it said September 2021. So I completely lost my excitement on that. But I was really hoping.
And I got excited because I saw an article about that big mall at Jersey Meadowlands.
Yep.
And it said, going to open no time soon.
Oh.
So, yeah. So it's called what? American Dream? And so American Dream has the only North American indoor ski slope. It has water park. It has amusements. It has a lot of retail. And apparently there's mortgage payments being missed. There's retailers walking away. It's the American Dream is turning into the American Nightmare there. And it's terrible because our friend Joe is heavily invested there with the ski slope. So I don't know if it's open, the ski slope itself, but I'm going to check it. And if it is, I'm going just to support my friend.
Hey, if it is open, let's do a show from there. All right.
Let's do it.
I think that's important. Plus, it'll look great to have that ski slope in the background. And I like wearing parkas in the middle of the summer.
Do you know what I get excited about on Thursdays?
What do you get excited about?
The man himself, Mr. Chris Green.
This man right here?
That man.
Hey, Chris Green.
Hey, guys. How are you?
How are you?
Where are you today?
Look, let's see if you can guess.
That is a barbecue joint.
It is not. I'm actually at a new hotel in the Chesapeake family in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, the Wyndham Conference Center up here in Gateway, Gettysburg. As you can see, lots of room for conferences. This is just pre-function. We got 61,000 square feet of space. I have my whole transitions team here in the ballroom next to me. And man, it feels like we're doing something moving the business forward right now. So great day for us.
Congratulations on bringing in 2 properties into the Chesapeake family today. So
yeah,
congratulations.
The adjacent courtyard is joining as well. It's a 154-room courtyard, beautiful hotel, and big complex up here. So we can hold and drive market, right? So this is perfect. Even though we know there's challenges with groups and meetings, this is the kind of complex that's drive to from major cities. Not too far. It's about an hour and a half from DC. So you can get up here, and we've got so much space that you could have 100 square feet per attendee easy, and we're all set up for it. So it's an exciting day for us.
You know, Chris, just so you know, you would be nothing without the show. And so we take full responsibility for those 2 new hotels.
That's right.
And
thank you.
And you're welcome. Okay.
Well, all the stuff that we didn't do to help you, I mean, it really is showing right now.
All the work we had nothing to do with is really showing.
So thanks again for thanking us for not doing anything for you. We really appreciate that. But Chris, congratulations. That's really great. I know you only have a few minutes with us, but I thought it'd be great to bring in our next guest, Mr. Akshar Patel, VP of Conventions with AAHOA, somebody who may have prepared an event or 2 in the past. Akshar, welcome.
Hey, Glenn. Hey, Anthony. Chris, good to see you. Congratulations.
Akshar, nice to see you.
So, my friend, the bomb went off when AAHOA was going to do the convention, in person. It got extended, and then we all had hope in August it was going to happen. And then Florida went tango uniform, and you were not allowed to do your big convention in Florida. So now your entire convention is online. And I'm not going to lie, but that was the moment the energy of the entire hospitality industry went away.
Well, Anthony, the energy is still there. It's just in a different platform. So I definitely don't think it's gone away. Yeah, as the association and representing almost 20,000 plus hoteliers, our goal was to push through and have this conference for all reasons. One, it was going to be one of the only industry in-person meetings. And we really wanted to be that reignition back to the travel, tour, hospitality, restaurant, et cetera, industries to make sure that we could meet together and convene. But yeah, Florida had different plans and whatnot, and we had to pivot real fast. And we had so many contingency plans. We looked at every angle possible. But when certain recommendations and guidelines came down, whether it's on the federal level, the state level, the local level, we really came to a decision at the right time, given everyone's safety and what would have been best for everyone's situation. So the excitement is still there. Don't miss out on it. August 11th, 12th, and 13th, and we are definitely bringing content that's going to be the latest and greatest at that point.
No, absolutely. And I didn't mean to say it's not going to be an exciting event, because if anybody can pull it off, you guys can. And I know we're going to be part of that somehow. So we're happy to help you in any way we can.
Hey, let me bring it a little
big event.
Anthony, let me bring in a little PR here. It's not that the air went out of the industry. It's just that we had such palpable excitement for our return to form party where we could all be together. That was disappointing, but we fully know that you're going to put on a great event. And I'd like to announce that we're going to be doing special shows here on the No Vacancy live show each and every day that you folks are having your conference to bring more attention to it, in order to bring more eyeballs and hopefully share a little bit of love. Plus, I'm going to be doing some intros and outros for the main event. So be sure to register for the AAHOA event today. All right. So I think before we get into a deep conversation, Akshar, with you in terms of meetings and events and the status of your events going forward, Chris, we've only got a few more minutes with you before you have to go and catch a plane to go home. I'd like to discuss what we're seeing right now with the industry statistics that are out there. So Jeff, if you could bring up the numbers that we have for this week. So occupancy was 47.5% during the week of July 12 through 18. I mean, yeah, that's a nationwide number. ADR fell to 98.56. And then the last one, RevPAR declined to 46.87. Is this what you're seeing at your hotels? Is this a good estimation of what you're seeing throughout your portfolio, Chris? And how does that reflect the overall state of the hospitality industry today?
Yeah, I think it's in aggregate that those numbers are right on. That's what we're seeing. We saw about a 2% pullback in RevPAR across our portfolio. We have a pretty diverse portfolio, so we see a mix across the business. Occupancy, obviously that's higher than what we experienced. We were about 41.2. But then again, I have a little bit more density in urban markets and full service. So I think the select service and extended stay is bringing up that number. But the ADR, the real ADR number, is about right. What's happened is the business is filling in is all leisure, contract business. There's no national corporate, local corporate really traveling, and no GDS bookings coming international, et cetera. So that's the real ADR, and that's what's dragged it down from the 133 range where we were at. That's where it's going to stay until we start seeing the return of the higher rated segments.
And I'm glad you said that, Chris, because what I was going to say was that number should be there and it should be going up. Unfortunately, it's going to stay there and go down a little bit, go up a little bit, but it's not going to move really anytime soon. I would say for the next, I'm going to say 3 months. It's probably more like 4, 5, 6 months. And I think that's a shame, because that number should be going up right now. And
if you read like Goldman Sachs and some of the strategic advisors that talk about our business, they understand this, but they also, so one of the indicators we're going to have to be careful looking at, occupancy is going to be first. There's just not going to be a return of rate really in the near term, because the segmentation of the business is coming back is so rate sensitive, right? So it's not that hoteliers aren't doing a good job of trying to manage rates, and all of a sudden after like the financial crisis, everybody dumped. That's not what's happening. It's just the segments that are performing are not high rated segments.
Right. Chris, I just want to make note that you look like a CEO today.
Thank you. I know. I got to
behind you. You're quoting numbers. You got a beautiful pants on.
Wow.
You look like a CEO, bro.
So what was it like having to put on pants for one of our shows?
Hey, you're telling all of our secrets. I felt so good. I will say something really funny. As I was packing for the trip, because I hadn't had my suits out for a while, this trip, I'll go to a hotel. It was weird. I was like, okay, do I need a sport coat? Do I need jeans? What do I need? And my wife was laughing at me. It was really kind of an experience. And then I forgot a couple things because I hadn't been on the road in 125 days.
Right.
So it's weird. I had to get back into it. And the other thing is for you professional travelers, I have this bag, right? And all of us have them. But I normally, before, I had everything in the right pocket and I could find it easily. Now I spent time looking for my AirPods and my chargers because I'm all out of sorts.
Right.
I should have been doing
Funny.
it. So.
It's so funny. I haven't used my bag in so long, and I have a bag similar that anytime I reach, because I'm in cars a lot when I'm shooting or driving, whatever, or even if I'm in an airplane, if I try to reach underneath, I know exactly where everything is. So I don't need to look at my bag. I can open up a zipper and know exactly where things are.
Right.
I couldn't even find my bag until I opened my trunk and go, I had my bag in my trunk for 4 months. I haven't really used it. But the funniest thing about what you just said, Chris, was you said, I'm about to say something funny. I've never had anybody actually announce, okay, prepare for how funny I'm about to be.
I tell you that every day before we go on air. What are you talking about?
That's because I do it so rarely. You know what's cool though is I've had people commenting and I've had emails about my energy this week. I'm telling you, my energy is because even though it's slow and you can see all the space is not occupied right now, I'm back doing what I love. I'm out with the people. I'm with my team. I love it.
Yeah,
I'm just happy. This is what we need to do.
I'm going to challenge you, Chris, for a second.
Go ahead.
Looking at that space, right? And we know that space isn't going to be filled anytime soon, like really filled. So I'm challenging you and your team to come up with something so creative that no one's ever thought about it before to fill up that space for the next 6 months. All right? And I'm going to ask you about it every week until you have something that blows my brains out.
All right. Akshar, you have any ideas for Chris? Let's just put you on the spot.
Yeah, I think you guys do that pretty well, putting people on the spot. But Chris, I think that the goal here is to try to get the small meetings back up and running. I think you're in a great geographic location where you can probably generate that business, whether it's local or some transient, industrial, et cetera. And that's where I think the comeback will be on the meetings and events side. While we all want to shoot for the sky and the stars, conventions and trade shows, it's going to take a little longer than obviously expected, but those small meetings in Georgia, there was just I forget the actual association, but it was more of a truckers association. They just did an event for about 300 people with keeping all social distancing, 36 square feet of social distance space at table settings, et cetera. And things went off without a hitch. So I think the small meetings, and then secondly, the marketing of your property or properties that have that meeting space, and ensuring that you've done everything possible in terms of safety and making that extra effort of that hallmark feeling or that tingly feeling, what I call, to say, hey, come to our place. It's safe. We've taken extra measures. Here's everything listed out. And that's one thing that I've been telling a lot of hoteliers as well as our members as well. If you can do that, you will definitely get good traction and keeping that environment up and up.
Here comes a great idea from one of our listeners. JW Marriott Essex used to have their ballroom as a roller rink during the Depression. I like that idea. That's pretty creative and interesting. Also,
we could play some what's that? Some Chicago, and I could skate up and down here and have slow skate in the pre-function. Would that be fun?
What's the name of the Chris? What's the name of the hotel you're in right now?
It's the Wyndham Gettysburg Conference Center here it's in Gateway Gettysburg. It's a complex where there's a movie theater, there's a restaurant, 2 hotels, right in historic Gettysburg. It's a great location.
People are asking for pictures, so
okay, send them to the website. Both of them, Courtyard Gettysburg or Wyndham Gettysburg, and you can see pictures. And we've got some tours already. The sales team already got socially distant meeting sets on our website. They've also got we've got the socially distant meetings video available. So we're working on all of that stuff now to make sure that you could have meetings safely. And I'm telling you, I've been traveling now. This is like my 3rd week, and we can do this. I keep saying it. I see people. My team came in from markets all over the country to do this takeover, and it was safe. So.
And how excited was your team to see each other?
Oh my gosh! Honestly, I'm going to be really frank. I got really misty seeing my people, and I might now. I might have to get off the screen because I'm getting a little misty thinking about it.
Well, it's all right. You're going to have to get off the screen anyway because you got a plane to catch. So
I do.
Chris, before you wrap up, there were just under 571,000 people that went through the TSA yesterday. You're about to hit the airport. Any final thoughts about what your travel experience has been like or anything of that nature?
I continue to tell you that the airlines that are giving us space make us feel good as business travelers. That's going to help us return quickly. So the middle open has got to be mandatory for a while. Listen to rules, wear your mask. I know it's not about you, it's about other people. Be safe, I mean, the transmission is so much reduced, and I need you. I've said this at the end of the last show, and I'll say at the end of this show. These guys on here need you, Akshar and Anthony and Glenn and I, and then all of my peer sets need you, and all the people that are laid off. We need you guys to travel, and you can do it and be safe. So
listen, and these things that we hear, like American Dream retail area, the mall's not really opening. People are walking away from their leases. Mortgage payments aren't being done. If we start seeing this across America, and in the next 6 months, we have a decision to make. This will happen. And if this continues to happen for 6 months, the R word, it will go to a D word, which means we'll go from a recession to a depression. So this is real. The 600,000 is going away this week. A lot of stuff's happening that's real scary. And if we don't get ahead of this right away, and one of the things is to travel. The way to help our industry and help our economy is to travel.
Yeah, this is what I'm going to end with. I'm a fighter. You guys are fighters. And most of the people I know in this business are fighters. We have to fight tooth and nail. Before, it was with our comp sets on pieces of business. Now it's with fighting for our message to get people traveling. And we can turn this tide if we behave, travel safely, care for others. But we have got to get busy doing what we do as the greatest country on earth. So let me end with that today. I appreciate you guys.
Thank you. And tell your team hello. Tell your team hello. And maybe next time, like, introduce your team to us.
If you want, I'll go grab them and say hello real quick.
Just bring your camera with you. Just go in there.
I don't know who's in there. Let's see. And I think it's a little dark in the ballroom. So
let's find out. All right. That's all right. While you're going in there, Akshar, any words on? Okay. Wait, never mind. Yeah.
Well, I have to. I mean, it's going to make them all. I'm just going to do. Oh, yeah. I'm walking without my mask. So okay.
Just stay far from them.
Let's see. Hello, team. Right there. That's
Hello,
Lisa.
Everyone.
That's Lisa Carlson. She's our Senior Vice President Operations. There's Melissa. She's our Director of Hotel Transitions and New Openings. Angelique's over there from HR. And Maria in accounting. As you can see, we've got this big socially distanced takeover set up. And everybody's staying away.
Chris, I love the fact that you basically snuck up on them, but they were all doing the right thing.
Yeah, I have great people.
Everybody had their mask on, and anyway,
see you later, Chris. Be safe.
Bye.
Just let you know.
Don't choke yourself with that.
Chris, feel free to reach out.
All right, Akshar. Thanks for your patience during that portion. We're going to talk to you about the future of meetings and events. Obviously, you had the big hit of having to turn the annual conference, which I think over 6,000 people attended last year to the annual conference, into a virtual event. And now a double blow. Just yesterday afternoon, you unfortunately had to announce that the HX experience powered by AAHOA had to be canceled for in November here in New York City. So sorry to hear that. Our hearts really break for you.
Why did it have to be canceled? What happened?
So, our partnership with Emerald Expositions and the HX and the BDNY family, there was a couple things that went into this. With the Jacob Javits Center transformed into a mobile hospital and so forth, one of the things that we've been in constant communication with that team is what's the life there look like in terms of converting it back to event space. So there's that piece of it. New York essentially was one of those first markets, as well as areas geographically, to take the severity of the COVID-19 situation. And as we go into the next couple of months, the medical science is saying that with influenza season coming back up, there's just so much uncertainty. And when we pivoted to a virtual event, it's better to sometimes pivot a little earlier, or if you know that there's some uncertainty, because then you can still give a good product or give a good outlook into the future. So a lot of things went into this play. And as you guys know, with this current state of either organizations, associations, service providers, and whatnot, they kind of want to start preparing for what is 2020 to be for the next couple of months. But more importantly, what does 21 in the future look like? So I think with all that keeping in mind, and more so, I think you guys, it's just the ever-changing climate right now. Every hour is different, every minute is different, and every second is different. And I think Chris said it best, is that for us to get back on our feet in our cars, in our planes, trains, buses, etc., if we act responsibly, we act in a way that we can, show that this can be done. That's the next step in all this.
So I'm going to ask you two things. One, don't have such a great event that people get so used to these great events online, and then we lose our convention.
Yeah,
so make sure it's not perfect. Make sure it's not perfect.
Well, if you know me and the rest of the AAHOA staff and team, we always strive for not only perfection, but we're going to raise the bar every time in anything we do. I mean, just this morning we had we had our first call of the day at least. And the number that I learned today is through this whole process in our webinars, we've educated and touched 25,000 people through just our educational platforms. And that's an event, right? And that's substantial numbers right there. So Anthony, Glenn, we're going to raise the bar in everything we do.
Right. So when I've seen you in person, your energy is ridiculous. Like your energy so high.
Yeah,
I have to hold you down. So I need some of that energy. Why are you so like low energy today? You just got a lot going on?
No, I'm not lower energy. Like I said, we're all pivoting to a different thing. As you know, on site, I'm a go, and I think this is a different situation for me that I've got to be more go from the heart and from the mind. But I was just telling someone the other day that that show floor, I put in over 150,000 plus steps, whether it's 30 miles on my feet, but the excitement is still there, and I can't wait to get back into a hotel or a convention center.
Yeah. So what, can you give us a little idea of how this is going to look online?
Yeah. So what we did is we actually dove right in to say we didn't want to make this another either Zoom type situation or webinar. So we're adding a lot of value in our production side, but we're adding a lot of value in the content side. As you guys know, there's a lot of information that's coming out by the minute, by the hour. And Glenn, you guys do this day in, day out from a production side. We've actually challenged our own teams to say we're going to produce everything almost as last minute as possible because we want to give the right data and the current data, the earnings come out and so forth. So we've got great speakers like Chip, Roger Dow, our own president, CEO, Cecil, industry leaders, experts that are going to come to the table with the latest and greatest data for everyone, for the hoteliers, for the hotel industry, and that's what we're leaning towards. And now that we're almost at halfway through the year, it's going to be now even more fresh of what we've learned in the last couple of months through COVID-19 and how the industry is going to change.
And what are the dates again? And how can people, why don't we talk about the dates exactly?
Yeah, sure. So the dates are August 11th, 12th, and 13th. We split it up into 3 days, roughly about a 2 to 3 hour segment each day. The trade show virtually will be obviously a little longer for people to network. But we scattered it for a couple of days for a couple of reasons. Obviously, with people tending to their business and other responsibilities, we wanted to be able to give that opportunity there. But August 11th, 12th, and 13th, the cameras are on, and all lights are going to be on AAHOA as well as the industry at that point.
Could you give us any deeper details? People are wondering how the virtual vendors are going to work. What's that process going to be like? What can they expect so they can still do deals?
Yeah, absolutely. So in the exhibitor or the vendor component, we've set up where the exhibitor or the vendor can actually interact with the attendee one-on-one through either a chat room, a video conference, etc. So we value and know that one of our biggest traits of our convention is networking, right? To make those deals right there. I was actually talking to my daughter just the other day, and she's interested in what I do every day, and she asked me, what do you do on a trade show? What's the deal like? And I gave her the analogy of like at recess or at lunch when you say, I've got a bag of, great chips or Doritos or whatever it is, and you want to trade it for a Twinkie. That's a deal. That's a face-to-face deal. And she's like, oh, I get it. So it's like getting chocolate and trading it for celery. I said, yeah, something like that. So we have kept that one-on-one feeling right into the virtual piece of it. And you'll be able to network, set up meetings, video chats, regular chats, as well as anything you want to do in that. So we're not diluting that aspect at all.
Akshar, what's it like having a kid actually interested in what you do? I'm not familiar with that at all.
So it's great. And, it's one thing that I and my wife really instilled in our kids. Our parents did it. Our social communities and faith-based also did it as well, is that we want to bring our kids with us in everything we do. That way they get to see our daily routines. They see what we deal with, and it helps them even grow in their own space. I mean, now my 6-year-old is going to be doing digital learning like many.
Fun.
Yeah. So she now understands what a virtual event may look like, and she's going to apply it back to her own academia.
That's pretty great. It's really important for that. And I was, just joking around because my kids don't really have a concept of what I do, even though I talk about it all the time. But I think that's pretty awesome. And the annual event, a lot of families come together. It really is a big party for the entire community, for the family. It's not like your typical financial event that you go to where it's just a bunch of people all, dressed up in fancy clothes like Anthony.
To add to that, because AAHOA, it's 2 and 3 generations. These hotels are run by 2-3 generations. The older generation, the one thing that's always been challenging is to get them to kind of come forward and say, hey, maybe we put tile instead of carpet. Maybe we put a computer at the front desk. Maybe we don't, do this, that, and the other thing. So how do you convince a first generation person to go online and think that that's actually going to work for them? Has there been that challenge?
So every transition from first gen to second generation is always going to present you with challenges, but I think the association is at a great point, and it has done a lot of great things for the young professionals that are coming up in this industry. Like you said, the first generation came and planted the seeds, started the hotel motel business, and now the second generation is seeing the fruits of that, and they're now taking that to say, we want to grow that orchard or that farm into something vast and ever growing, right? So the YPs and the second generation are taking that in more of a development aspect and an investment aspect, and say, our family members, they were the general managers, the housekeepers, the maintenance crew, the marketing crew, the sales crew, but we want to take that and grow it in a way that we're growing with expansion, right? So the development side, investment side, and AAHOA has done a great job in supporting all that with different initiatives, like I said, through the education methodology. We've got a great mentoring program. We've got a lot of great successful people that are now reaching out to our YP during the virtual event, or the convention, I should say. You'll see that we have a great panel lined up just to talk about this and what it means to be the next generation coming up. And this pandemic is new for everyone, right? So when you're taking over the reins, no one would have ever expected that they have to navigate through this from a business standpoint, from a social standpoint. So it is just hands-on learning across the board, Anthony.
Yeah, and it's interesting because the people that don't know AAHOA, whether you're in the business, there's a lot of people in the business that maybe not know AAHOA. And when I introduced them, I said, listen, if you don't know AAHOA, you don't know what Babe Ruth did for baseball.
That's a great comment. I appreciate that, and I'm sure everyone else.
It's like AAHOA is not only bringing their community, they're bringing every community. And when you can get a CEO of a major brand to pay attention and really shift their thinking process because AAHOA has an opinion, that's saying something. And it's through the things that people don't see. Like, one of the things that I'm really interested in is when I go to a AAHOA event, I see the same faces, and I'll go to 1 or 2 or 3 AAHOA events a year, but the same faces are there. And there's so many AAHOA events. So they're running their business, running their families, doing everything they need to do in their communities, and they're getting on planes, and they're spending, I would say, I just guesstimate, if you're working on a AAHOA board, you're probably spending 20 hours a week on AAHOA related topics, and you have a business, you have a family. So the work that you guys have put in for kind of an outsider, because I was an outsider of AAHOA for a while, and now that I'm kind of an insider, it's really, I've never seen anything like it. And that's the honest truth. I've never seen that kind of work going to an association in a real way. It's almost like this is everybody's full-time job.
Anthony, you had said 20 hours a week. I think these board members do 40 plus hours a week. I see them in every single city I'm going to. It's amazing the work and dedication that all of the board members put in. So congratulations to Chairman Biren Patel for navigating this crisis right now. All right, Akshar, another question for you. We got people are wondering how voting is going to work, because after all, that's a major part of the annual conference. Getting that new board member who's eventually going to ascend to the chairmanship position. Right now, you're in an unusual spot where you have an open interim secretary that's doing stuff right now. So what is the process going to be like in order to make sure that you can fill that position in a way that's going to be satisfactory to the association and your community?
Yeah, I'll just give you guys a quick overview, and I know we want to talk a little bit more about the convention and events.
Yes, we do.
So forth. But yeah, we will be doing voting, obviously remotely and online this year. Be on the lookout for the ballot as well as the process and all the instructions that come upon it. Obviously, there are different guidelines with the voter eligibility that we are now going to be marketing and so forth. But as you will be attending this event virtually, throughout that whole throughout the event, there will be instructions on how we're doing voting. The elections, the speeches, everything will be broadcasted in that sense. But like I said in my opening statement, we're not going to miss a hitch of this whole convention. We've essentially just taken it to an electronic format, but everything stays the same, and we will definitely be looking at a successful convention.
Excellent.
Now it's open for just AAHOA members, right?
It's open for everyone. So AAHOA members, non-members. We've opened the doors for this convention for anyone in this industry.
See, and Glenn, when I said it's only for AAHOA members, Glenn
Well, it
said,
usually is.
See, we taught something that Glenn didn't know that. See, Glenn?
Yay. Thanks for educating me and for Anthony schooling me at the same time. I love that.
That's really important. I didn't know that. I thought
right.
members only too. But I was going to suggest maybe open it for other people because I think it's a great opportunity to do that.
Yeah, and I would add that AAHOA as an organization is really done a great job at not just addressing the needs of the Indian American community, but they've opened it up to all people that are out there. They've been that successful. It's fully inclusive group. So you don't have to be an Asian American hotelier in order to join the organization and participate as a full member. So Akshar, when you're looking forward to the future, you create all of these regional events as well. I was very disappointed that you had to cancel some of the regional events. We were very much hoping to be a part of those. How do you see those going forward? What's it going to be like when we could once again meet face to face?
Yeah, so for the rest of the year, some of our regional events are definitely going to be virtual, but we're now looking at 21 to figure all that out and reconvene. I think this pandemic has also given us an opportunity to reassess our needs as not only an association, but as an industry, right? When we think outside the box, that phrase has been used in a lot of different ways, but this is really going to give us an opportunity to say, this doesn't work, or what can we invest in, whether it's on a technology piece or some other platform or performance piece that we can make physical events even better on ROI. You know, one of the biggest areas is food and beverage. So when we're looking at food and beverage minimums, or we're looking at the setup and the experience and so forth, as coming from a food and beverage background and working at the Willard Intercontinental and food and beverage, et cetera, we used to see a lot of wastage go down the drain, right, with food and so forth. So that's one area there to say, how can we better plan? How can we better price? How can we better use our resources and not just waste resources? You know, with prepackaged items, whether it's breakfast, lunch, or dinner, that's been a concept overseas in the Eastern world for decades, right? And now is slowly going to come into our neck of the woods. But yes, it's a new process for us, both from a prep, an operational, and an executional standpoint. But it's giving meeting planners the ability now to repivot their thoughts, give a different experience, but also streamline operations in a huge manner on the food and beverage and the convention side.
What would you say is the overall mindset of most of the AAHOA members right now? Because again, we're 4 or 5 months into this. We've all kind of come to the a feeling that, hey, we've got to accept it, right? This isn't going to be over by January. We've got to accept it. We're thinking about 2021, and we know we'll come back. So now we just got to survive. So, and no one, you know, I know in this industry are more survivors than the AAHOA community.
Right.
So what's the mindset?
You know, I think the first is obviously accepting the situation. I think majority has and whatnot. And now we're thinking, like I said, outside the box. How do we make our current business models, our current assets pivotable, but also ready for the future? As you know, with all the new clean, safe stay initiatives, that have been put out either from the brand side or even AAHOA essentially has put out this great program. They're using all that to be ready for the future, rethinking the process, rethinking operations, rethinking resources, but still giving that high level of customer service and satisfaction at the end of the day. I mean, one thing we all get excited about is going on vacation, whether it's going down the road a couple of hours or getting on a flight, etc. And that emotion that comes with it, whether you're getting on a plane, I remember as a child packing the station wagon up with 10 or 12 other kids in my family and trucking it down from Massachusetts all the way down into Florida. But that was an experience, right? And now that I look back on it, when I say station wagon to my kids, are like, "Are you serious? What is that?" But those types of experiences and moments are now changing the future, whether it's technology based, and I think that's what AAHOA members and other hoteliers, and even Chris, like we just had a few minutes ago, are doing. They're changing the business model. But one thing I'm trying to preach and say is it's all about collaboration, right? Chris just said it right. We're not about the comp sets anymore. We need to collaborate with each other, our comp sets, our, whether competitors in any direction, to come back together and how do we make this work for everyone? While we're talking about the industry, one thing we talked about when we scout our locations for AAHOA conventions, we look at what the financial and economic impact is on that city. We look at from, what will the attendees bring to the hotels? What will the attendees bring to the airports, the restaurants, the transportation systems, etc. And that's where the thinking now has to go towards, and I hope it's going towards that with planners and service providers, to make sure we all come in on one page and collaborate together.
Right. Elizabeth Wolf says, hard to hear about the cancellations, but thank you for coming out and getting the word out. Elizabeth, of course, along with her husband, Harry Javer, is behind the lodging conference. Elizabeth, we're wishing you guys best of luck as you move forward with having to make some decisions. Yeah, so that's going to be really tough. But it sounds to me that human spirit, when put into a corner, right, you find that you're more creative. You find you've got a depth of ability that you may not have been able to tap into before. What has this done for you personally, Akshar, in terms of challenging yourself as a professional and as a human being?
Yeah, so I'll tell you professionally, like Anthony said, I'm a go person. When I hit that hotel or that trade show floor, I won't stand in one spot for more than 3 seconds. And you guys know that because you've seen it. And it's easy for me to know exactly, especially coming from the hotel background, where I need to go, where I need to see things, and who do I need to call, etc. So that line of communication on site is very different. So professionally for me, what I've been able to learn and practicing more and more is the communication sitting at home or sitting remotely and trying to piece puzzles together. As event professionals or hospitality professionals, we're kind of the magician behind the scene, right? Everything is a layer. Everything is a layer, a piece, or this piece fits, this doesn't fit, this person fits, it doesn't fit. And the person may not be replaceable. So you got to figure out how do you use that person or resource in this situation. So that's been a great learning curve for me in that sense. Personally, I think what it's done for me personally is that, like I said, I think it has come back to communications. I've been able to spend more time at home and really understand and appreciate more of the house life. We're road bandits, right? Every couple of days we're on the road, or every couple of weeks we're somewhere. And it's shown me the value a little bit even more to know what the household situation looks like as well. So I take what I learned from the event side and I put it into my own personal life, and every day is an event, by the time you get up, people get ready. The kitchen is a nonstop operation. So it's like food and beverages going on. And then you get different types of events and through the mail or this and that. So I'm trying to apply what I know professionally to now personally and just be better all around it.
So does that mean that your family has to eat buffet food every day now, if you want to be more like the events?
So not a buffet, but I can tell you it's more of a conveyor belt style situation. Yeah, for sure.
I said this to someone the other day, and I'm going to ignore his comedy routine.
You've become very good at that.
And I really try hard. And I said this, and someone said, Anthony, you're so silly. I said, this is humble to all of us. I try to live in gratitude, and I try to be a humble guy and try to understand that hero today, zero tomorrow. I can be sweeping streets to make a living. So I always keep that in the back of my mind, the food stamps and block of cheese and all that stuff. So stay with me. So I try to live that moment. And I said, I think a lot of people are going to realize, they're going to live in gratitude and they're going to be humbled. And somebody said, then you really don't understand human nature. And I'm a little bit more positive than that. I disagree. I think people will kind of realize what goes on in the home when you are traveling 5, 6, 7 days on the road, how that affects your family. When you come home, everybody seems normal, everybody seems happy, but you just lost 7 days of your family's life. Yeah. And so is that trip necessary? And I think someone said it yesterday really well, the gentleman from Citizen M, when he said that there's going to be 11-point trips. There's going to be trips that are necessary, but there's going to be those trips that we take just because we're so in the habit of taking them that we may not take anymore because we realize, like you said, the feeling of home.
Right. He specifically said he would come to New York for like 6 times a year, for example. Maybe instead he'll do 2 times a year, but each of those trips would be over a more extended period of time rather than an in and out. I thought that was an interesting philosophy that I think plays into the fact that people still want to travel and we still may get the same amount of days out of them. In the end, they just may travel a little bit differently.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So any other thoughts, Akshar, on what's going to be going on at the events?
One overall thing, and I was on a call this morning with PCMA members and so forth, is
could you explain who they are to our audience?
Yeah, the Professional Convention Management Association. It's a membership-based organization that I'm a part of and I contribute to. Just like that is the Events Industry Council, and that's an organization out of DC where it represents over 100,000 meeting professionals, planners around the world, etc. And I think the name of the game now is not to live in the what if scenarios or in the past or present moments. Like I said, let's think outside the box. Let's think towards the future, because as organizations come out and thoughts come out, we're going to have to be almost ready for anything and everything.
Right.
At the flick of a switch. This whole situation was literally at the flick of a switch. There was no softening of the market. There was no softening of the industry, etc. It happened, and it happened fast, and March came and it's gone, and now we have to look towards the future. So how do we practice planning into the future? There's so many different ways that we can look at it. It's not just quantity, but it's more quality now, right? Before the game was to say, how many people can we have registered? How can we push engagement, etc. But I think the goal now is that because the quality factor is going to be much higher in the content side, the production side, that will all be things that we have to now look forward to. And then just, let's applaud people that are trying rather than, backlashing in some areas. Anthony, your daughter plays volleyball, right? As you know, in Orlando, there's that AAU tournament that either is going on or it's about to be over with and whatnot. But those guys, applaud them while they're convening, but they're taking all the measures, all the precautions to say we can still do this in these areas. And that's great, and it works for them. So we should support them. We should support the industry. We should support the event. And like I said, in Indianapolis, there was an event, basketball tournament. I think Nike or an affiliation of Nike put it together. Great, that's awesome. You just stimulated economy for a city that was kind of obviously in a little bit of a drought or a dry spell. But applaud those people and start networking, collaborating, and finding out what they did to make your events bigger and better going into the future.
I think what UFC is doing with MMA, at first I wasn't, I don't know how I feel about Dana White sometimes, but the way he went about that event, and these people are being tested. Literally, they had 80,000 tests in a period of a couple of weeks for all their employees. They basically have something called Fight Island in Abu Dhabi, and they're putting on these events and no one's getting sick. And it's probably the safest place on earth right now. And it's amazing. Yeah. My daughter, who does play volleyball, she's going to play for college. She's going to play for Manhattanville, a D3 school. And she's so excited. She's working out every day. She's getting ready. And they just announced that the season just got pushed to spring. Now, as parents that are really concerned about our children's safety, we really felt that they, we understand. We do understand. But on the other side, if they decided to have the event, we would have supported that too. So we were kind of in the middle, whatever the school thought, whatever the association thought we were going to go with. But it's people, listen, human beings need things to look forward to.
Yeah.
I say to every single person, if they're having a moment, I say, pick one thing to look forward to. It could be an ice cream cone at the end of the week. But if you don't have something to look forward to, it's soul crushing. Like, and again, we joke, me and Glenn, about I have to go somewhere because I'm 4.5 months in. He'd been to Vegas, and I really haven't been anywhere. And I'm like, dude, I need something to look forward to. Like,
hey, you did go to the Garden City Hotel a couple of weeks ago.
Which and that was great, but I'd like to go a little further than Garden City.
Leaves you wanting more, which is why we're going to be going to Mohegan Sun and broadcasting from there next Thursday up in Connecticut. I'm looking forward to that. That'll be
awesome. I mean, like I said, it's all about collaboration. I think just a couple of different stats about the events industry. It's 1.5 trillion in total GDP. There's 26 million jobs globally in this industry. Anywhere between 1.6 to 1.8 trillion in just direct spending. I mean, those figures are huge in terms of what it brings to the hotels, convention centers, cities, etc. And you look at the expansion projects and the renovations that are going on across the country and even into the world at that point. They're seeing this fruit, right? They're JW Marriott LA, great example. They created a campus, right? They've got the JW there. The other hotel around Marriott LA Live, the Staples Center, the Microsoft Center, those types of experiences, those types of complexes, etc. All the restaurants that are there, they basically thrive on convention and events business, right? Because you may have the transient and the leisure markets giving you a good amount of business, but the foundation or a big chunk of the hotel convention center business comes from face-to-face or B2B meetings at that point.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Great. Akshar, if people want to join for the annual conference coming up in August or learn more about how HX is going to be changed, how can they find you and learn all about it?
So you can find every piece of information right at our website, AAHOA.com. All of the convention details, all the registration details, it is all there. I'll say it one more time. It is open to anyone and everyone in this industry. I thoroughly encourage everyone to join because there's a piece of content for anyone and everyone this time. And I think right now, like I said, collaboration is the key word in everything. You can find me on LinkedIn, email, phone, text, anything you want. I've made a personal vow to myself as well as to the industry that I want to talk and network with anyone that I can help, navigate through, but and held it and giving support, whether it's just hearing someone out, giving advice or whatnot. So I'm fully available. So thank you guys and
great
platform.
One last question for you.
Yeah.
One of the hallmarks of the annual conference is the open forum. Somebody's asking, will you be taking live questions from AAHOA members?
So if you really look at it, there's an open forum 365 days. Email us at AAHOA.com or just get in touch with us. We'll be happy to take any questions, any concerns, comments, and be in touch with any of our members or anyone from the hospitality industry.
Excellent. Thank you so much. We really appreciate you.
I want to say one thing before you leave. As soon as this happened, within seconds, you guys were. It was like the ambulance when you call when you need to go to the hospital. Like you immediately reacted like an ambulance reacts, and there was no thought about okay, what do we do? How do we do? It's like they need us. Let's go. Boom. Webinar, conversation, call back, text. I remember calling or texting people in the middle of all of this in the beginning, and I got answers back. It's like you literally went into triage in the quickest way I've ever seen. So congratulations.
Yeah, I'll say one more thing is that the association, the members, the staff, and anyone and everyone that's part of it, we bleed hospitality, and we want to make sure we're there for the industry at this given point as well as into the future. And we're definitely there. Like you just said, Anthony, our actions are showing. Anything that anyone needs, please just knock on our door, and we will help in any way possible.
Thank you, my friend.
Great. Yeah. Thank you so much, Akshar. We'll
Thank you.
Hopefully we'll see you in person before the end of the year.
I sure hope so.
So
all right.
Guess the number 1 to 40 go.
What now? What'd you
guess the number 1 to 40 go?
Get to number 1 to 40.
Yes.
What do you guess? Oh, guess the number. 27.
That was the number. Holy shit.
What?
I swear to God, that was the number, bro.
This is why we're going to Mohegan Sun Resort and Casino next week.
Dude, I wish I would have wrote that down so the audience would have not think I'm an idiot. Like, dude, that was the number.
Wow.
We have a game in my house that we play around the holidays where I give my kids, depending on what's in my pocket, I say, guess the number 1 to 1,000, 1 to 100, 1 to 10, and then it gets down to like $1 for 1 to 10 or whatever. But usually like a 1 to 40 would be like a $20 price. So I owe you $20. But dude, I swear to God, that was the number.
Oh, you don't owe me anything. What we do owe each other is creating more great content for our audience to enjoy every day. All right. So producer Jeff sent this article over to me where Brian Chesky, he's the CEO, founder of Airbnb, says travel will never, ever go back to the way it was. He says, I will go on the record to say travel will never, ever go back to the way it was pre-COVID. There are just some there. That's what I'm thinking. There are sometimes months when decades of transformation happen.
Wrong.
I think he's absolutely wrong too. Why do you think so?
Wrong.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I disagree.
Wrong.
I think we are going to get back to it. Might be 5 years from now. I think that is human nature.
Listen, online gambling was going to put casinos out of business. They've never been stronger pre-COVID.
That's right.
Netflix was going to put movie theaters out of business. Airplanes were going to put cars out of business. I don't know. I mean, it's just we're humans. We need to connect. We need to move.
That's right.
You go into a restaurant or you go into even a retail store. Within 30 seconds, if you allow yourself to, you're like, I mean, how many times every single person listening to this that wear a mask, that believe in masks, how many times have you gotten out of your car or left your house and said, crap, my mask? Right.
I do that every day. I go somewhere
because we're not allowing ourselves to get used to that mask. Actually, the more I wear it, the more I don't want to wear it. I wear it and I will continue to wear it. But it's like in the beginning, I was like, yeah, I'm going to wear it and I don't care. Now it's like, oh, I have to wear this mask. So we're getting tired of it. We're getting tired of not traveling. We're getting tired of not connecting. Listen, I saw 2 friends I haven't seen in a while. Both of them came over to me to shake my hand. And I had to shake their hand because it was that moment. And I was just like, well, wow, back shaking hands. Okay, I got to get used to that because I'm really not like in the mood to shake hands right now. But so listen, we're creatures of habit. We're emotional creatures. Listen, people that are lonely die early.
That's
okay,
right.
People that isolate themselves die early.
Right.
You hear of couples all the time that are married 50 years, and then one spouse is dead, and then 27 seconds later, the other one dies because they're lonely. So we need each other. We need to travel. I absolutely disagree. It's going to be longer than we want it, but some things may change, like keyless entry. Maybe the front desk clerk, like at Citizen M. Maybe it's more of an ambassador. Maybe you have touchless areas in your room. Sure, that's all good stuff. Maybe breakfast buffets change. Sure, that's all good stuff. Maybe we have more room at the poker table, more room at a cafeteria or at a convention. Sure, that's all good stuff. But to say it's going to, we're not going to travel, it's going to change dramatically, completely 100% disagree. Not only I disagree, it can't change because our economy is based on travel.
I would agree with everything you say. And let me add, the only place that Chesky may be right is people may no longer stay in Airbnbs with the frequency they did because there will be a lack of trust, I think, personally, in my opinion, of individuals' houses that are being rented out versus the professional nature of the hotel industry, which has been working overtime to create those cleanliness assurances.
Listen, I think everybody knows me, knows I have OCD, so there's no way I can't go to those places simply because when I go to a hotel, I know where everything is. Again, everybody knows one of my favorite brands in the world is I haven't been in so long, I forgot, Holiday Inn Express. The reason being is I know exactly what to expect, and I know where everything is, and I know where how the hot water works and all that stuff. So I'm just not that. I'm not an Airbnb person, but they laid off a lot of people. I think 18,000 or 1,800. I don't remember the number, but they laid a lot of people off. Listen, but so things are going to change. Not all employees are coming back. Not all executives at the big brands are coming back. Big brands are going to have to give backs to their hoteliers. Management companies are going to have to do a little bit more. They're going to have to give more value. That 3 to 5% maybe is going to have to include more things, and you're not going to nickel and dime on revenue management and marketing and this and that and the other thing. Brands are going to have to do more backyard sales for you and not just say, hey, do backyard sales with sales manager. What the hell am I hiring you for? So you're going to have to do more. And we've gotten to the point, honestly, I'm sorry to go off on a tangent here, but we've gotten to a point where, yes, management companies are great and branding companies are great and all that's great. And then the owners really don't know how to run their business. We need to get back to running our business and controlling our business. Just yesterday, I had a client call me up and say, hey, we're redeveloping our property. We're getting an $18 million loan. We're rebuilding the entire thing. We're knocking it down, rebuilding it. And we're bringing on the management company. And I said, well, don't ever call me again. And they said, why? I said, because you guys can do this. I'll work for you for free. I told them, I said, call me anytime you want. I'll work for you for free. You can do this. Why in God's name are you going to open this brand new hotel and your 100-year legacy of your family? Now, all of a sudden, you're going to tap out and see somebody else run it. Are you out of your mind? And there's not that much skin on the bone. So make more money and just learn how to run your business. Anyway, I'm done.
Yeah. All right. I think all sorts of great points out there. And I got to tell everybody, I'm delighted to not have to apologize after yesterday's hotel reboot. It actually went successful. It was a great panel. We've got another one coming up on August 5th, all focused on how you can empower your F&B business. We'll talk about more of that in the next couple of weeks. But Anthony, I'm excited. Hospitality success is making a big difference in hoteliers' lives, really playing upon what you were just saying there, giving people the knowledge that they can use to be more successful.
One of the things that I'm starting to realize, and, I wrote an article in the Washington Post about rating hotels and stuff 6 years ago, and now it's very newsworthy now. And so I was kind of ahead of it 6 years ago, and building hospitality success, we were kind of ahead of COVID a little bit, saying we need to teach people how to run a hotel. We don't have to do it for them. And I'm starting to realize, I'm actually angry about it.
Yeah.
That we've taught owners of hotels, listen to us, do what we say. And that is exactly the wrong way to raise children. That's the exactly wrong way to run a business. Listen to the management company, listen to the brand, listen to the general manager. Let's teach owners how to run a damn business. And that's what hospitality success does. And I'm getting more and more angry as I think about it, because we should have been doing this a long time ago. It's a lot less expensive. It's a lot, like I said, I don't want your problems. I want to teach you how to fix your problems. And so it's so necessary. And when you look at a guy like Bezos, or you look at a guy like Gates, or you look like a guy like Cuban, or all these guys, they know their business. They know their business. They know their business better than anybody else. I can walk around a hotel and somebody say, hey, do you know last night the housekeepers, they left a little late, so there's going to be overtime. Oh yeah, I know. There was 27 hours of overtime because 17 rooms, stayed over, and they decided to stay late. So yeah, I got it. And they're like, how do you know that? Because I came in early and I read the reports. You got to know your business.
Yep. Yeah, that's the most important thing. And I totally forgot to plug, if you do want to watch yesterday's Hotel Reboot event, you can go to hotelreboot.com and still watch it on demand. We talked about all the new rules of reinvesting into your hotels and what the hotel real estate market is going to be like. Can you get money to buy new hotels? Should you build a new hotel? Should you reflag your hotel? All of those things are answered with our incredible group of professionals that aren't necessarily out on all of these webinars that you see every single day. Also, subscribe to our daily newsletter. Text the word hotel to 66866. Yes, it's just that simple. One word, text hotel to 66866. Get a summary of all of our shows and all the information that you need to be more successful going forward.
Is it really that easy?
Type in the word hotel to 66866. It just asks you for your email address, and boom, you are done.
I just did it. Man, that was easy.
Right? I told you.
So before we go, to see how in sync we are, we're going to do this one more time. You got the number. Okay, so now we're going to give you another chance. 1 to 100, guess the number. I wrote it down. Go.
All right. Well, I don't know about being in sync with you. I was more of a Backstreet Boys kind of guy, but I'm going to guess 47.
Oh,
I can't see the number.
It was 47.
No way.
It's right there, buddy.
All right. I don't see anything like that. It looks like a plain black screen, but I am going to take that, and I'm going to hold on to my good luck.
Actually, it was 72. I can't lie.
I got it backwards. That's okay. That's no big deal. I didn't say 72. I don't know what I'm talking about anymore.
I
All
know,
right,
I know. I said I lied. It was 72. But anyway,
that's a time for us to wrap up the show, I think.
Okay, I think we should have a comedy hour once a week. What do you think?
I thought we were having a comedy hour every day at 12.
So please go to hospitalitysuccess.com or our Facebook. And also, please, we're going to be making some announcements about Hospitality Strong, GoFundMe, what we're doing with the money. We'll be making those announcements in the next week or two. We're going to have another poker tournament. So the $600 is going away. I told you, we're going to start putting that money to good use once that $600 goes away and people are in real need. The hotel business doesn't come back as fast as we thought it would be. That $600 going away. People may not have jobs, so we're going to use that money, put it to good use. And I will just say, I will let them remain anonymous, but good friends of mine, good friends of the show, donated $1,000 to the effort. So I truly appreciate it.
Wow, that is unbelievable.
Yeah, and of course, our friend Colleen,
yeah.
I think she just actually donated another $100. So
she's like over $700-800 at this point. Yeah.
And you guys, and Colleen says you guys have such good chemistry.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that, especially since I wasn't capable of even taking that class in high school. So thank you. Really appreciate it. All right, enough with the corny humor today. I've had enough.
You know what?
It.
There's no silver lining for COVID. But one thing that happened, a lot of kids didn't have to take SATs this year.
Yeah,
and schools are going to let them in without the SATs. Somehow I got into college with the lowest SAT ever recorded in New York City history. So
wow.
Yeah, I didn't need a pandemic.
Well, congratulations on that accomplishment, and also congratulations to my son Jake, who has been named an AP scholar from high school. We just got word on that yesterday, so congratulations to my boy, who's much smarter than I am apparently. Thank you guys for being here so much. We really love it and appreciate it. Remember, you got to make the best of everything. You've got one life, so blaze on and
be kind to yourself.
See you guys tomorrow.